GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Montreal. A massive 45-car freight train derailed north of the city this morning, and officials are launching an investigation. Meanwhile, traffic is snarled with several road closures, and the heatwave research from the Heart Institute shows rising temperatures are stressing our neighborhoods. Jeff, what do you make of that?
The spicy kicky ball 2, paired with the Pimin after party, kicks off Saturday night at the Plateau's Le Saint-Sulpice, doors opening at 9 p.m.
Tickets cost $12, include a complimentary drink, and admission is limited to attendees 18 and older, with a limited number of table reservations available.
The lineup features local DJ Mélanie Tremblay, live salsa band Los Ritmicos, and a surprise guest performance announced tomorrow via the event's Instagram page.
There's a full slate ahead, so without further delay, let's jump straight into the news together now as we start our day. Good morning, Montreal.
The Transport Canada Investigation Unit announced that a 45-car freight train is scheduled to derail north of the city later today. Officials said the incident is expected to occur without any injuries or hazardous material releases. Emergency crews will secure the site and clear any debris before allowing residents to re-enter their neighborhoods. A joint task force of railway safety regulators and local authorities will launch a formal inquiry as soon as the train comes to rest. Preliminary reports indicate the derailment will not result in spills, and the area is projected to be cleared by early evening. Residents who were temporarily evacuated are slated to return to their homes once officials give the all clear. No further disruptions to passenger service have been reported at this time. The derailment site lies along the main freight corridor that runs through the northern suburbs, prompting a traffic slowdown on the highway.
Residents and youth baseball players in Villeray-St. Mitchell Park Extension are pressing the City of Montreal and Tennis Canada to pause a proposed overhaul of Gerry Park. The plan calls for new tennis courts, a modernized stadium, and additional recreational spaces, but community members argue the design overlooks the neighborhood's long-standing baseball fields and everyday needs. At a town hall meeting this morning, parents and young athletes described how the changes would displace local leagues and limit access to affordable play areas. They are asking officials to revisit the layout, retain the existing baseball diamonds, and ensure any new construction reflects the priorities of neighborhood families. With the revamp slated to begin later this year, the group warns delays could irreversibly alter the park's character. City officials have not yet responded, and Tennis Canada says it will review the feedback before finalizing the project.
Quebec will end its long-stated moratorium on agricultural land expansion in January 2027, when the provincial government is set to adopt a regulation that permits the conversion of non-agricultural parcels into farm use. The policy shift follows years of a freeze that barred developers and farmers from redesignating vacant or industrial sites for cultivation, a measure originally introduced to protect prime farmland. Officials say the new rule aims to boost food self-sufficiency and support rural economies, while also establishing criteria to ensure that only suitable land is repurposed. Critics have warned that loosening the ban could increase pressure on natural habitats and spark disputes over land values. The regulation will come into force at the start of the new year, prompting municipalities and landowners to prepare for a wave of applications.
2 young adults were pulled from the historic Lachine Canal Saturday after one fell into the water and a companion leapt in to try to help. First responders arrived within minutes, extracting both victims and rushing them to the hospital where they remain in critical condition. Police confirmed the incident occurred near the canal's western towpath, a spot known for occasional accidental slips. Officials said the swift actions of the passerby likely prevented a worse outcome, though both individuals required intensive care. Firefighters, paramedics, and SDM staff arrived quickly, securing the banks and assisting the rescue effort. The city's emergency services are reviewing safety signage along the waterway following the rescue. Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada said the city will review safety measures along the canal. Residents are reminded that the canal's fast-moving currents can be hazardous, especially in summer heat.
On June 20th, heavy rain drenched the West Island, flooding streets and basements across several suburbs. In the wake of that event, 2 class action lawsuits were filed in the Quebec Superior Court, accusing the City of Montreal and the surrounding West Island municipalities of neglecting known flood risk mitigation measures. Unnamed residents alleged that officials had prior knowledge of the area's vulnerability, yet failed to implement adequate safeguards. The complaints seek compensation for property damage and demand that the municipalities adopt comprehensive drainage and flood prevention strategies. Legal analysts note that the cases could compel a review of municipal infrastructure planning across the island. Court filings list the City of Montreal, the boroughs of Pierrefonds and Roxborough, Lachine and other West Island jurisdictions as defendants. The lawsuits mark a rare collective legal challenge against local governments for climate-related hazards.
We'll see the French Air Force display team fly over Montreal and Quebec City, plus updates on the train derailment. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
The annual picnic competition is back at Stuart Hall, and today's festivities include a special teddy bear picnic, something our community looks forward to each year. I'm here with our on-scene reporter, Jacqueline Laflamme, for a closer look.
Good afternoon. We're here at Stuart Hall today, and they have their annual picnic competition, and I'm here representing the teddy bear picnic.
Jacqueline, how many community members are gathered on the lake shore, and what are they busy setting up right now?
This is a wonderful community event, and there are quite a few members of our wonderful community here on the lake shore participating, and everybody is very busy right now setting up their picnic table.
Sounds lively. When does the official judging begin, and who are the key groups helping to run the competition?
So the judging for the picnic starts today at 12 o'clock. And I would like to also introduce the Friends of Stuart Hall, who are quite instrumental in getting this event together and for the judging.
Great to hear about the Friends of Stuart Hall. How is the City of Pointe Claire involved, and what's the event's main goal?
So this is really a wonderful event that takes place at Stuart Hall. It's represented by the City of Pointe Claire. And what we hope to do today is raise awareness and just have a great time.
With awareness and fun in mind, what are the judges looking forward to, and how's the weather shaping today's snack-filled celebration?
So we're super excited for the judges to do their thing so that everybody could sit down and start to enjoy all their lovely snacks that they brought today. And it's a beautiful sunny day, and we all hope to have an amazing, amazing time. And thank you again to Stuart Hall and the City of Pointe Claire.
Thanks, Jacqueline, for that wonderful preview. We'll keep an eye on the picnic competition as it unfolds. Back to you in the studio. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the break. Now Jeff Laflamme is here with today's top local stories you need to know.
On Tuesday, the Patrol de France swept the sky above the island, staging 2 synchronized flyovers. At 14:46, the sleek blue jets traced a tight formation over the downtown core, drawing cheers from commuters waiting at the metro. 15:10 saw the same display repeat near the historic Old Port, where tourists paused to capture the moment. Earlier, the team had performed a similar pass over Quebec City, giving residents there a comparable spectacle. The French Air Force's aerobatic unit, known for its precision and signature smoke trails, visits Canadian venues each summer, and this year's appearances added a splash of international flair to local summer celebrations. Witnesses noted the aircraft's crisp maneuvers and the brief but vivid cloud of white vapor that lingered after each pass. Many locals said the roar of the engines echoed through the streets, reminding them of distant summer festivals abroad.
Summer McIntosh shattered the women's 200-meter butterfly world record at today's Canadian swimming trials in Montreal. She touched the wall in 2009 seconds, eclipsing the previous mark and securing her place on the national team. The fast-track meet, opened this morning, draws crowds to the city's aquatic center and showcases homegrown talent for the upcoming international season. Spectators said the electric atmosphere turned the pool deck into a community celebration, with families and local swimmers cheering each stroke. McIntosh's achievement not only guarantees a spot at the World Championships but also inspires young athletes across the province. As the trials continue through the week, more hopefuls will vie for selection, keeping the city's waterways buzzing with anticipation. Local schools plan to highlight her record in physical education classes, and the city's swim clubs anticipate a surge in membership as families seek to emulate her success.
Yesterday, researcher Daniel Gagnon of the Epic Center at the Montreal Heart Institute sat down with CBC journalist Sonali Karnik to discuss his team's latest findings on coping with rising heat. The study, conducted right here in Montreal, outlines practical steps communities can take to stay safe as temperatures climb. Gagnon highlighted 3 key strategies: expanding green shade, improving building ventilation, and promoting public awareness of heat-related health risks. He explained that even modest changes, such as planting street trees or encouraging rooftop cooling, can lower indoor temperatures and reduce strain on vulnerable residents. The institute hopes the recommendations will guide local planners and households in building resilience against hotter summers. As heat waves become more frequent, the research offers a clear roadmap for protecting public health while keeping daily life comfortable.
Violent thunderstorms sweeping through the Montérégie region have left vegetable farms in disarray, with 396 damage reports filed since the storm surge began on June 20th. Financière Agricole confirms that only 50% of the growers have insurance coverage, leaving many exposed to losses. The deluge, which intensified through early July, flattened rows of lettuce, tomatoes, and beans and has disrupted harvest schedules. Officials say the damage threatens the supply of produce to local markets, potentially affecting prices for shoppers. The Montérégie area, a major vegetable source, has endured high winds and hail that tore canopies and flooded irrigation. Emergency crews are clearing debris and checking soil erosion while insurers ready to process claims. Growers are working through the night to rescue remaining crops and meet demand for summer salads and soups, while the province's agricultural ministry monitors the situation and will release updates as the weather improves.
Yesterday, firefighters tackled a second alarm blaze that erupted in a family home in the Rivière des Prairies district. Roughly 100 crew members from Montreal and the wider Quebec fire services converged on the scene, deploying ladders, hoses, and ventilation equipment to contain the flames. The fire, which ignited in the early evening, quickly threatened adjacent units, prompting the elevated alarm level and the massive response. Firefighters worked through the night to extinguish the blaze, prevent further spread, and secure the structure. No fatalities were reported, and a small number of occupants were rescued with minor injuries. An investigation into the cause has been launched, while authorities continue to assess damage to the residents and nearby homes. Residents were urged to stay clear of the area as crews completed their operation successfully.
Now let's check in with the weather team for your afternoon outlook across Montreal.
A weakening ridge and a fast western jet are reshaping Montreal's heat, setting the stage for an unsettled afternoon. On this date, the all-time high reached 34 Celsius in 2025, a record set during the late summer heat wave that pushed temperatures across the province above 35. The all-time low sits at 14.7 Celsius, recorded in 2020 when an Arctic dip sent a cold front deep into the interior. By contrast, the climatological average high for early July hovers around 26 Celsius and the average low near 15. Those normals highlight how today's forecast sits comfortably between the historic extremes. Today's radar is completely clear across the province. The lack of echoes confirms the high-pressure dome capping moisture and keeping the air stable. With the jet stream blasting 69 kilometers per hour from the west at the 500 HPA level, any lingering disturbance is sheared away before reaching the city. That dry picture will persist through the afternoon, allowing us to shift focus to the thermal profile for the rest of the day. At noon, Montreal sits at 22 Celsius under a mostly clear sky, with a northeast breeze at 14 kilometers per hour. The high-pressure ridge is beginning to erode, so pressure is easing lower, and the atmosphere will become progressively more unsettled as the day advances. The western jet, moving at 69 kilometers per hour, is positioned just north of the city, channeling drier air while also allowing mid-level disturbances to drift southward later this evening. Temperatures will climb to 29 Celsius by mid-afternoon before slipping back toward 28 as the sun sets. UV index holds at 7, and the wind will peak at 14 kilometers per hour from the southeast. No weather alerts are in effect. Tuesday continues the warm spell with a high of 30 Celsius and a low of 18, and the sky remains clear as the ridge strengthens. Wednesday sees a slight dip in overnight cooling, low 21, while clouds thicken and the high stays at 30, hinting at lingering moisture. Thursday, the jet shifts south, bringing a light rain band with a 45% chance and a high of 31, low 21. Expect brief showers early afternoon. Friday reverts to mostly clear skies, though a western wave keeps rain probability at 45% and temperatures moderate to a high of 26 and a low of 19. Saturday ends the week with clear skies, a high of 27 and a low of 19, offering a brief respite before the next system. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Heavy traffic on the roads, Kirby Datch's arbitration decision, and tonight's spicy kicky ball after party are coming up. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Major disruption today. The La Fontaine Tunnel is closed, forcing traffic onto Rue St. Laurent and Rue Shair-Brook. Expect severe backups from downtown to the south with travel times roughly doubled. Next, the Papillon-Leblanc Bridge on Highway 19 operates with partial closures. 3 lanes remain open but traffic crawls, especially during the mid-morning peak. In Vaudreuil-Dorion, work at Harwood Boulevard and Bellemare Street reduces the eastbound lane to a single-through lane, creating a steady queue to the highway entrance. Barrie Street between St. Catherine and Ontario is closed for the Barrie-Yucca Metro upgrade, diverting vehicles onto St. Laurent and Rue St. Denis. High Roman 9 Boulevard between Pierre de Coubertin Avenue and Notre Dame Street is down to 2 lanes as the south extension of the SRB proceeds, slowing southbound flow. Transit. Several STM bus routes are detoured around the Barrie Street closure, adding about 5 to 10 minutes to downtown trips. Most other arterial roads remain clear, but congestion will linger into the afternoon as drivers adjust.
Tonight the Moroccan national team meets Canada at 622 Boulevard Métropolitain. The friendly offers our squad a rare test against world-class opposition and gives fans a lively night of national pride. The Festival International Nuits d'Afrique is lighting up the Quartier des Spectacles all week, with concerts across the district that celebrate African, Caribbean, and Latin diaspora sounds. Music lovers can discover fresh rhythms and vibrant performances without leaving downtown. At the Time Out Market, Cirque du Soleil's Echo exhibition invites visitors to step behind the curtain and see the hidden moments that make the circus magical. It's a visual feast that delights families and art enthusiasts alike, and the Les Premiers Vendredis Street Food Festival continues nearby, serving global flavors alongside live entertainment. Startup Fest launches at the Old Port this weekend, delivering 3 days of talks, workshops, and networking for innovators. Entrepreneurs and investors will find the perfect spark for the next big venture. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest on Montreal's teams, from arbitration moves to a hat-trick victory. The Montreal Canadiens have learned that forward Kirby Datch has filed for salary arbitration, joining 15 players across the league, including fellow forward Jason Robertson in the same process. Management now faces a deadline to negotiate his contract, and the outcome could shape the Habs' roster strategy. General Manager Kent Hughes and Senior Advisor Dan Milstein continue their collaborative approach, a partnership that began with the 2022 Alexander Romanov trade. Recent extensions for prospects Ivan Demidov and Jakub Dobeš signal a productive off-season, though the Canadiens still seek broader roster upgrades before the new campaign. In the Northern Super League, forward Evelyn Badu delivered a standout performance, netting 3 goals as the Montreal Roses overwhelmed Vancouver Rise by 5-1. The decisive win underscores the Roses' attacking depth and positions them strongly as the season progresses.
Oh My Dear Cafe on Rue St. Denis in the Plateau Mont-Royal has become a beloved spot for coffee, pastries, and neighborhood conversation. Owner Claudia Gamboa says the shop has been robbed and vandalized 3 times in the past year, leaving staff and regulars shaken. She is now urging the city to create a dedicated police unit and expand surveillance to protect small businesses like hers. The cafe's open mic nights and community board have turned it into a cultural hub, so each incident ripples through the street's rhythm. Patrons describe the aroma of fresh espresso and the warm welcome as a refuge that keeps the neighborhood humming. Protecting Oh My Dear means preserving the everyday vibrancy that defines the Plateau, and that's why this place matters to Montreal. And we'll hear from the Oh My Dear Cafe owner on how community support helps her bounce back. We'll be right back.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local Sunset Montreal's evening newscast.
Hundreds of ecstatic supporters have converged at the corner of Jean Talon East and Pontoise, turning the streets of St. Leonard into a sea of red, green, and white after Morocco's 3-0 World Cup triumph over Canada. Music blares, chants rise, and the celebration spills onto every block. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks CJ Waterhouse. I'm standing at the bustling corner of Jean Talon East and Pontoise, where a sea of red and green fills the air. The SDC Jean Talon S to set up about 150 folding chairs facing a giant outdoor screen, and the hum of the crowd rises with every pass. Families spread picnic blankets, the scent of grilled kebabs mingles with fresh coffee, while drums and chants echo off the brick facades. As Morocco scores its first goal, the crowd erupts, arms raised, voices overlapping in Arabic and French. The second and third strikes draw a roar that seems to shake the street lamps, and strangers hug, swapping stories of hometowns from Casablanca to Montreal. This celebration turns a simple watch party into a bridge between continents, reminding us how sport can knit together a community far from home. The victory feels like a shared triumph, a moment that stitches two worlds together. Carl Dumont virtually at St. Leonard.
In the heart of Milan, on a sunlit Saturday morning, the aroma of freshly roasted beans drifted from the open doors of Café Vienne, where barista Leia greeted regulars by name. A few blocks away, the courtyard of Café St. Laurent buzzed with the clink of ceramic cups as its owner, Marco, poured a latte art heart for a teenage violinist practicing nearby. Across the city, the historic storefront of Café des Artistes welcomed a line of commuters, while the rooftop haven of Le Petit Grain offered panoramic views of the St. Lawrence as patrons savored the season's single origin brew. When the worldwide 100 best coffee shops list was announced, each of those 4 Montreal spots saw their names highlighted beside legendary cafes from New York to Cartagena. The moment the notification pinged on Leia's phone, the neighborhood gathered outside, sharing high fives and the simple pride of seeing our city celebrated on an international stage. It reminded us that a great cup of coffee can be a quiet act of community, a place where strangers become friends. And that's the warmth we carry with us all day.
On Rue St. Laurent in the Plateau, the afternoon sun glints off the copper roofs of a row of townhouses, where a small group of residents has gathered around a folding table at the local community center. Hydro-Quebec's latest proposal to raise rates for the province's highest consuming households, those using more than 35,000 kilowatt-hours a year, has sparked a lively conversation among the neighbors, many of whom are eager to keep their utilities affordable. At the center of the discussion is the Bouchar family, who recently installed a rooftop solar array and upgraded their vintage furnace to a heat pump. Their meter now reads a fraction of what it did last winter, and they've shared a simple tip, setting the dishwasher to run only when full, that has already shaved a few hundred kilowatt-hours off the building's consumption. The atmosphere turned celebratory when the neighborhood's energy-saving challenge, launched just weeks after the proposal was announced, recorded a 20% drop in usage for the block. It's a reminder that a policy change can inspire collective action, turning a looming bill increase into a shared triumph. And that's a hopeful note to carry into the evening.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the lunch break. Today's highlight was Summer McIntosh's astonishing new 200-meter butterfly world record, a reminder of the talent we share. Stay tuned tomorrow for more stories that matter to our city. Until then, stay safe and keep the conversation going.